You see a wonderful, wonderful expression of love in this movie. You see a young man trying to deal with his marriage, with his pills that have pills to correct the side effects of his other pills. All of the things that he has to deal with. And when the movie ends, people who come to see our film just sit there and they tell me this, and they stare at this credits as they roll on. And they say to themselves, oh, my God, I've got to do something. So we hope our film will provoke people to take advantage of their American citizenship and get out there and lift your voice. Make sure you know who you're voting for. Watch our film and see this superficial debate on the floor of the House and the Congress, reading the White House talking points. And then you have to remember we've got generals, as the New York Times has informed us, who are in bed with the Pentagon. We have generals, our military analysts, expert military analysts, ex-general. They got them all, MSNBC, Fox, they've got them, CNN. These people were meeting with Rumsfeld in his office before going on the air.
And they were getting cozy, and they were consulting for lobbying, or they were lobbying for private contractors. Yeah,
they had their hand in businesses that would benefit from this war. I mean, the president he scared the nation. Saddam is coming. Saddam has this. Saddam has that. The longer we wait, the more dangerous he becomes. You can feel the heartbeat of the nation. Ted Stevens stands up in the middle of our film from Alaska and says history will show. This is how hysterical you can make a grown person. History will show that the nations that stopped Saddam Hussein saved the world. I mean, the politics of fear works. And as Bob Byrd reminds us in our film, the longest-running senator, by the way, who begged his colleagues not to do this. He begged him. He begged the American people to let your voice be heard.
Phil, hold on. These are hard breaks, national radio.
Sorry.
No, it's not you, it's me. So we'll return. Phil Donohue is doing another segment. We'll take some phone calls, too. This is the Randy Rhoads Show on the Nova M Radio Network. The Randy Rhoads Show in progress on a Wednesday. Randy's back tomorrow. I'm Stacy Taylor, broadcasting from San Diego, California, on the Nova M Network, where Phil Donohue is our guest. Phil goes without, needs no introduction, of course, as a talk show host. He is the co-producer of Body of War, a film he was just talking about a second ago. And I'll take some phone calls if you're willing here, Phil, but I do want to mention a couple of things real quick. First of all, since I spoke to your co-producer last week, Miss Spiro, and she made a good point. All roads seem to lead back to the corporate media angle here and these distractions. And I asked her why, this seems to be sort of the era of documentary films, much of which are denunciations of the Bush administration. And she said because there is a vacuum, a gap there that needs to be filled because the media is not covering any of this. And one other real quick point, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, and that is that you mentioned the story about the armchair generals that are being employed by the various networks and their cozy relationship with the Pentagon and with Dick Cheney and the fact that they're getting money in return basically as lobbyists for the defense contractors. Not one network I read today, not CBS, NBC, your former employer, MSNBC, CNN, CNBC, or Fox News has mentioned once this story that ran in the New York Times over a week ago.
The story, which one now?
The one about the generals being basically on the getting all of the talking points in the Pentagon.
Discussed it?
Hasn't been brought up once. I think Brian Williams mentioned it on his blog today because a bunch of rabble-rousers basically called his bluff on that thing. But there has been nothing on the air on any of the major networks, or the minor networks for that matter, about this particular story.
And you never see anybody from United for Peace and Justice. You never see anybody from Iraq Veterans Against the War, military families speak out. Increasing numbers of military people are standing up to say, wait a minute, this war is not fair to the American troops. And that's obviously a tremendous act of courage. But the media, I'm telling you, they ignored Winter Soldier. This is a major event. Young men and women talking about their experiences in wartime, they ignored it totally. Being against the war is not good for business. That's the thing that the American people have to understand about corporate media. If it isn't good for business, they will either squelch it or insist that you change your message.
Which is why you don't have a show anymore, and Tucker Carlson does.
Well, you know, when I was dismissed from MSNBC, they hired Michael Savage. I mean, they actually hired Michael Savage. He lasted about 6 minutes when he told somebody, you know, that they should die from AIDS or whatever he said. The memo which was leaked to the New York Times revealed that a consulting firm had notified NBC News. This is a firm they paid to tell them, you know, what's good, what's bad. Donohue was bad because he was against the war, and it wouldn't work, they said. He's not going to do well against the competition, which is waving the flag. You know, so, you know, when a president calls a war, he can have it. The people will actually shut up and sing. It's amazing. At a time when we need free speech the most, we squelch ourselves, and we're also certainly squelched by the establishment. Our message is clear. Don't shush Rush. Don't shush us. And stop calling us names. We love America more than you do. We believe in the Bill of Rights. We resent what you're saying about us, and we reject it.
Phil Donohue with us. Let's go to Cindy in Fullerton, California, listening to KTLK Radio out of Los Angeles and the Randy Rhoads Show. Hi, Cindy.
Hi. Great to speak with you. And I want to thank Phil. I was one of your original watchers on your national TV show at a time, you know, when there wasn't much on TV that was intelligent for moms staying at home. So I've been a fan ever since. I'm going to go across town today in the traffic, pick up my husband at work, and go over to see your film in Santa Monica.
Oh, how great! Good. Well, that makes me feel good.
And I've worked. I've just an anecdote. My brother is 62 years old. I've been helping him try and get sober after Vietnam all these years. You know, I'm the Vietnam generation, so they didn't fool me this time either. But I mean, here's this. My brother. Last year, I took him to an event with Iraqi veterans against the war, and he met Ron Kovic.
Right.
And it was so moving to see. Here's these guys still dealing with this garbage. And when my brother went to file his PTSD form, even though he'd been sober for several months, he went out again. So, of course, it's denied the first time. So, you know, these guys are battling. It's like the other end of the line for like your young man there. And
people don't see this, you know. And by the way, when you send a young man like your brother, you send him back 3 and 4 times. These are the people. The trouble, the head problems increase significantly. And if you send a person to a battlefield situation 3 and 4 times, these are the people that come home and beat up their girlfriends. These are the people who drink too much. These are the people who wind up in the bar at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Or with their mother staring out the window at home. The legacy of this war is going to be with us for the rest of this century and beyond. We are mauling the people who have gone to fight in this war, and we have no idea the sacrifice they're making. We do not see it.